The following segment is sponsored by Daniel A. White and Associates.
The Rick Jensen Show on 101.7 FM, 1150 AM, WDEL, and streaming to your smart speaker and mobile device.
You're looking at retiring soon. Maybe you're already retired, and you get hit from so many different places on taxes and reassessment and increases in fees. And if you're in the city of Wilmington or the city of Newark, man, it's more utilities and more property taxes in Newark, for example, all over the place. And how do you plan for this? What the heck do you do? Well, I sat down with a guy named Dan White, and I'm a very, very happy client of his. I learned a lot, and he deals with my sometimes arguments and stuff very, very well because he's bright as all get out. And then you got guys like Dan Simon. Dan Simon, another brilliant financial planner specializing in retirement income. Matter of fact, he's on the road right now, visiting some very, very happy clients of his down in Lewis, heading back to his office in Middletown, because every Wednesday after the news at 1:30, they bring you a tip, something to think about. And Dan, thanks for being on, man.
Rick, my pleasure. Thanks for having us as always.
And then I'm going to just tell people, you are on Route 1. I have actually been on the phone on Route 1 many, many times. And I know what can happen. Sometimes we get at that spot where there's no cell tower, so that's cool. Getting right to it, what is your tip today?
So, Rick, I was thinking about this earlier, what I'd like to talk about today, and my mind always kind of leaning into the market. Markets have done very well, and people are saving for retirement. And I thought about it a little bit more, and I said, people, the connotation is you got to save for retirement. You got to save for retirement. And I kind of take it a step further and say, yes, saving for retirement is necessary, but at the same time, you got to plan your income streams in retirement. So for those listeners that are approaching retirement, maybe it's time to start shifting some of our focus, not necessarily from growing the nest egg, but to creating sustainable, reliable, and tax-efficient income in retirement. I firmly believe that the people that I see and I work with that are living the retirement they dreamed of, generally have some type of secured income streams in retirement that allow them to spend money and do the things they want to do. So when we think about positioning assets for retirement and specifically for retirement income, we've got different types of income, right? There's guaranteed income, which is income, whether it's from Social Security, whether it's from pensions or some type of, promised or guaranteed income from an annuity type product. And then we have what we call non-secured income, which are really just withdrawals from investment accounts. And these could be IRAs, they could be 401ks, they could be non-qualified brokerage accounts. And then ultimately, you've got tax-free income, which everybody wants, not necessarily everyone has. But that's income that's coming from Roth IRAs or tax-free municipal bonds. So I feel as though multiple streams or having multiple streams of income really gives you the ability to, have flexibility, not necessarily just from an income standpoint, but also when it comes to managing taxes, managing volatility, and most importantly, being able to spend your money confidently on the things that you've anticipated wanting to do in retirement. So I think really it comes down to, we talk about this a lot, but tailor-fitting a plan, not necessarily to get to hey, we want to have this much money when we retire, but taking it a step further and saying, all right, well, we've got this much. How much can we spend and where's it coming from? So I think when we think about retiring, we got to really, bring the I word into the equation, and that's, income. Where's it coming from?
Yeah.
Because I think we all know that when we stop working, the expenses don't go away. And for a lot of people that I see, the expenses actually go up because they got a lot of time to do the things they want to do that they couldn't do in the past. So I would encourage people to shift the focus more towards, hey, what kind of income are we going to have in retirement as opposed to how much money did we save for retirement?
That's true. For me, personally, I've been 80% in the stock market and 20% in money markets, have an annuity, and such like that. But now, because I've been listening to guys like you and the other Dan. You like that? The other Dan?
Yeah, the other
Dan White, yeah. And
Dan White.
yeah, exactly. You know, and I realize I've made more good choices than bad ones in the markets, but I remember the bad choices I've made as well. And I'm very, very blessed, very lucky that I've made more good ones than bad ones. And I've actually significantly reduced my exposure to the markets as I realize I might have to retire in about 40 or 50 years. So I'm being a little more cautious that way. And I love hearing you guys and listening to you guys, especially I did attend a seminar a few years ago, and learned quite a bit and listened. Are you still doing seminars?
We are, yeah. I mean, we're usually running at least 2 or 3 a week, it seems like, at this point. So, yeah, still doing a lot of dinner seminars, educational workshops, whether it's taxes and retirement, Social Security planning, and then, the dinner workshop that we do is called Today's Retirement Concerns and Solutions. So, yeah, actively still out there trying to educate the greater, I guess, Delaware Valley, we call it, right?
I guess so, Delmarva. Well, you're right. You're mostly Pennsylvania and Delaware. So, I don't know, do you guys post those on social media or anything that you're doing these things?
Usually they're definitely on the website. From time to time, they pop up on the Facebook page.
Okay.
But if you give the office a call, Chris, our events manager, could certainly share those dates for anyone that's interested. And, you've attended one of those workshops, Rick, and I do a lot of them.
Yeah.
And what I find, it's a very informal way for people to get to know us, get to understand, what we're all about when it comes to retirement planning. And, there's no obligation, there's no cost. If people feel, hey, these guys and gals know what they're talking about, maybe it's time we sit down and have a serious conversation, then we move on to the next item. So, it's a great high-level workshop that covers a lot of information that, if your listeners are interested in attending, we'd love to have them there.
Yeah, I'll even give the phone number because I think I've memorized it. I call you guys so many times. 888-690-8820. Is that accurate? I think it is.
That is accurate. As for Chris, she's our events manager and can get you registered.
Perfect. Anything else?
That's all I had to cover today. But, income, and retirement is what allows people to go out and do the things they want to do.
Good stuff.
Because the concern is, Rick, when people are drawing down on an account, right, and the account's tied to something that might be volatile, such as a stock market, it looks great now, but if we do get a pullback at some point in the future, which we will, I mean, I can't sit here and say the market's going to go up forever the way it is, people get a little bit cautious about spending money.
I know. On Sunday morning here on 1150 AM and 1017 FM, WDEL, also streaming to your smartphone, whatever device you use at WDEL.com. Dan White brings On the Money. Let's see, it's at 7 o'clock in the morning on Sundays. And listen then for even more great retirement outlooks and tips. Dan Simon, safe travels.
My pleasure, Rick. Thanks as always. Yep, Dan will be on the money. Great show. I am on the road, so thank you, and we'll catch up with you next week, all right?
We should probably get a traffic report. Where are you on Route 1?
I'm not speeding.
No, I didn't say that, Leadfoot. What I said, was that out loud? No, what I asked is, we'll get a traffic report about where are you on Route 1 and how's it looking right now?
There you go. I'll give you a call when I get up closer towards, Wilmington when it slows down.
Yeah, exactly. At 273 and around the mall and everything. All right, buddy. Take care, Dan. Thanks.